Hello, and thank you for tuning in. I just wanted to see how it felt to say that. Um, so anyway, on my mind today, yes, a little bit groggy still, but on my mind today and on my mind yesterday. Um, what I want to talk about is the concept of the Matrix. Similar to the movie series The Matrix, not quite as extreme, but yes, in the way that our thoughts are directly influenced with technology. Yes, this is real. So, in the way that we can point electromagnetic wave, a beam of electromagnetic waves in the form of a laser. We can keep it aimed directly at the correct part of someone's head. Keep it locked onto them in that way. So even when a person is walking around or doing whatever, running, riding in a car, there's a machine that keeps the laser of radio through micro all the way up to close to, not quite in the infrared spectrum of wavelengths that keeps them there, keeps them in the right spot where they will continue to induce thoughts, continue to induce voices, continue to induce emotions. And so with this level of accuracy with lasers and with machines and with infrared and sonar tracking, they can do it, whether we're inside, whether they can, satellite can see us, or whether, smartphone, sonar producing devices such as smartphones and computers and other things can see us and tell where we are. Are able to constantly, no matter what we're doing, where we're at, put thoughts into our heads, unless of course we're through, in like a very, very thick-walled bunker, in which case there could be a laser-producing device in that bunker, because the laser is invisible. It can be directed. So, which is part of the reason, some people, feel like they're losing their minds if they're hearing voices or having induced thoughts or induced emotions. They listen, it could be mind control, but how could they be controlling me unless there was a microchip in my head? Well, there are machines that allow for you to be, tracked. I mean, it's military grade technology. It's the type of technology that's designed to shoot down an intercontinental ballistic missile when it's traveling. How fast do those things travel? Very fast. There's no room for error there. If you shoot down a nuclear warhead, no room for error. But the point of the Matrix is that, not just the Matrix, but I don't want to call it the Matrix because in the movie The Matrix, that's what it is. And so the movie The Matrix is based off of this idea, which does exist in real life. Yes. So if person A, we'll call person A Joe, and person B, we'll call person B Daru, each have this induced thoughts in their heads from two different lasers, maybe coming from the same device, just two different sources that are specifically tuned to our thoughts. Okay, so this comes into my head. I should say hi to, this comes into my head over here, into Drew's head. I should say hi to Joe. Into Joe's head, the thought comes, oh, well, who's that Drew guy? So instantly, there is an induced interaction. Drew feels social. Joe feels a little bit, a bit curious of his environment. He's like, oh, well, who's that? He doesn't necessarily feel like he should go talk to him. So that induces the interaction. That means, okay, so that means it'll feel natural. Okay, it won't feel like, oh my God, we just ran into one another, which, that can be induced too. Holy crap, we both just saw each other, and we both felt like we were drawn to each other. and it's like, man, and now we're just hitting it off great, and then, you know, in an hour or a few hours or even a few minutes after the interaction's over, or even the next day, you realize you have nothing in common with that person, and you were just feeling a similar emotional and thought state at the same time. Why you were drawn to one another? People can say that's the law of attraction. That's anything from spirits to demons, gods. Any kind of supernatural force is used to explain that. But here's the thing. Whether or not those supernatural forces are real leaves this one truth. The technology to induce these interactions and these thoughts, these feelings, these intentions, these ideas into a person's mind is real. It's very real. And it can be used for evil. The more we know, the more we stay informed, the more skeptical we are of our world, our changing, increasingly technological world, the more we can defend ourselves against being turned into things that we had no intention of ever being. We don't, and the idea of the Matrix is something that can be used for a great deal of good. As far as science goes, as far as studying human interaction, as far as studying how people will interact with this stuff, which the technicians that have essentially spoken to me, given me thoughts, replied to my YouTube videos, of course, through these induced voices and induced thoughts, have told me it's a very fine line, exposing something like this, exposing this very high, very, very hidden technology, puts me at risk, but it could be used for rehabilitating people with mental illnesses. For example, someone with depression might just have this huge aversion to human interaction, to doing the things that they enjoy, to figuring out the things that they enjoy, to even enjoying things. And so this sort of thought implantation, this sort of emotion inducing, can create a new habits, new behaviors that will help these people out of depression. If it's constant, if it's helpful, if there's no ill intent, and especially if these people believe that it is only them and it's only happening through them, then yes, it's possible. It's also possible, if they trust the system, if they trust that, well, this technician and this group of technicians is helping me with my depression to cure it, so that, and I trust them, like doctors, to put these thoughts and these emotions and these ideas into my head when I need them to make my behaviors less depressed, not more anything. But then it can be used for evil, let's say I'm a very despotic, tyrannical person that loves technology, and let's say I have a lot of technology, and let's say I have a lot of money to pay people to use this technology, and let's say I just happen to know about the thoughts induction technology, and I want to control people to destroy things that belong to people that I don't like, or even destroy people that I don't like. That's a very, very real reality that we have to be prepared for. So, again, I'd like to end this video. I know it's kind of went off onto a little bit of a tangent. Obviously, there's lots of information there, a lot to talk about, and for the purpose of keeping the video concise, I just kind of wanted to go through the broad overview of what I understand about the what I understand. I'm not even going to call it the Matrix. I'm just going to leave that. I'm just going to leave that for a Mad Lib for now. I'm just going to leave it into the Mad Lib realm, and I'll figure out what I will call it. Because I hate copying things off of like Hollywood movies and things like that. It just evokes, it evokes an entertainment-oriented picture rather than a reality. This affects me and my family. This affects my life. This affects the world. This affects jobs. This affects the economy. This affects everything. Kind of reality. So definitely keep your eyes on what is important. I know I do that. I have to, especially with the knowledge that I have. Keeping my focus on my individual worth. Keeping my focus on the worth of civilization. And keeping my focus on the worth of this planet. This planet that we were all born on. And the worth of all these things and how all of the worth of them is intertwined with one another. So, take care of yourselves, and like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more, and have a great day.